75th on harmony. And as I was just reflecting on this value, just reminded me of this word harmony. Harm no one. No one and anyone as well. And how do we harm? I think our Senior Raj Yogis with us will today tell us all about how to really gel well with each other and be in harmony with each other. It's indeed a very special moment to have both of us, very seniors, with us on this platform. And let me just start with Brother Ken. All of you know him very well. He's been with us for many episodes now. And he, as we speak of him, he is the regional coordinator of the Brahma Kumaris for the Latin America. And born an Australian, but has been serving for many, many years now, almost 50 years, I must say. And he's the creator of the self-management and the quality of life program that has actually been run successfully in many countries, almost 29 countries. And also he's one of the founders of the Oxford Leadership Global Consultancy. Brother Ken has written many, many books, 18 books on leadership and personal and organizational development. So I think we have one of the best speakers to tell us about harmony. And a few awards I would like to mention. He was presented with the Personality of the Year award from the Brazilian Association in 2009. And with this, I move on to our next speaker, Brother Eric Lareste. You know, all of them know him very well. He's retired now, but he has, in his career, been a journalist for the CBC, that's the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. And also, I must say, for the past 35 to 40 years, he has been with the Brahma Kumaris, serving as the national coordinator of the Canada region. And as we speak, again, he now has retired though, but he serves in the area of Montreal. And also he's instrumental for opening meditation centers in various parts of Canada, particularly Edmonton and Calgary. So as always, a big thanks to both of you for joining, and I'll pass it on to you. And before that, I would like to quote a few lines on both of you and the value of harmony. So today, Brother Ken and Brother Eric shall enlighten us on how to develop harmony so that living life for all of us becomes like a ceremony where each one of us tunes with one another in perfect symphony with no chance of conflict and strife, sounding like cacophony. That's because we have now broken the egoistic monotony, having connected the self with the Supreme's divine company. Life has now converted from being cloudy into sunny, and I now lead a carefree life like that of a cute bunny. I have indeed wasted time in conflicts, which was very, very funny. And now I have realized the importance that time is indeed money. Also, now my vocabulary should be as sweet as honey, because now I take care of my thoughts, practicing economy. So with this, I would like to invite both of you. Once again, thank you so much for being with us. And I would now request Sister Claudia to please welcome them. Thank you.
Good morning from this part of the world. Good afternoon for some of you. Good evening to India or other place. So it's a pleasure to have both brothers talking to us about harmony, because without harmony, we cannot be happy. We need to have harmony inside and outside. So when we have harmony inside the self, though we have harmony outside too. And I'm sure both of you has so much experience in that. And you'll share with us what is the way to be living a harmonious life and be happy, because that's the only way to go. So I was looking for what flowers should I offer to both of you. Then I thought, okay, in Brazil, Brother Eric is in Brazil is a spring, and Brother Ken in Brazil is spring, and Brother Eric in Montreal is fall. So I choose two colors of in one flower being in harmony. So we have the yellow from the spring and the darkness from the fall. So I just like to offer to both of you these flowers, and then you feel like you have in the pot in your home. Thank you for being with us today and share with all your knowledge about how to live like those flowers, always shiny. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Claudia. And before I pass it on to both of you, a few housekeeping instructions. We have a house full today, and we have almost 7 language translations. So kindly click on the same to name them German, French, Portuguese, Spanish, Hindi, Tamil, and Telugu. And with this, I would request both of you all to please. Thank you.
So again, it's up to us now. I don't know if you're aware, but we're supposed to speak like Dr. Manoj, right? With rhymes and poetry for an hour. And we have to bloom to be flowers like the ones that Claudia presented to us. So this is the little requirements. Anyway, I can start Kenbai because I'm very, very happy to really be with you today. And I've known you for a long time. And I used to, of course, notice you when I came to the Brahma Kumaris almost 40 years ago. And one thing that the way I came to know you, and I know I mentioned that to you many times, you used to sing a lot when you were younger. And I remember your songs of the early days, as we call them, when you would sing with your guitar. And so many songs that you sang at the time made me cry and feel emotional. And you made me fall in love with God, really, through your songs. And there's, one song in particular in which you say, you came to me, with the world in your hands, wanting so much for me to understand. And to me, it summarized so much what I was seeking when I came in spirituality. I wanted God to come to me and offer me his world. And I wanted so much to understand, but it was not easy to understand the turmoils of the self and the world. And I was 21 years old. And so anyway, that's really my first experience with you. And then I saw you often in India, and you were already for me my senior brother, and we learned so much from you. So today I'm not having the feeling of speaking too much because I want to ask you a few questions. That's how I'm putting the table. But to me, and I wanted to share with you an initial thought so you can bounce on this and tell me what you think, because when we think of harmony, I think on a superficial level, we just want things to work well together. Harmony, I don't want conflict. I want harmony. I don't want troubles. But I know you like music. And in music, harmony could be subjective. And when some great classical composer presented their work, it was received initially as a terrible piece of work. I don't know in English how it's called, but the spring, the Sacre du Printemps, Igor Stravinsky, and Beethoven's symphonies sometimes were declared bad. Contemporary music, if you listen to contemporary music, the sounds can seem very distorted. And yet for some, it is harmony. And if I look at the world, today, I see, yes, it's nice to be good with one another. But I see lions eating lambs, and I see this one killing the other one. And overall, we would say it's in harmony. So what is really harmony? Is it just good being good with good? Or is it good and bad finding a way to be in harmony? How do you echo harmony for you? And hello, Ken. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Eric. I was listening to you with great love. What comes to mind? I mean, you brought up the whole thing of music, and of course, harmony is only achievable if you're a musician and you're playing with others. I guess that's the essence of what harmony is. You have to listen to what they're playing, and then you have to see how your own contribution can fit in. I used to love jam sessions, which is like just sitting around with a few musicians and improvising. And of course, it sort of flows in a way because you're listening, very attentive to everyone who's playing. You're attentive to what they're doing and what their contributions are. And then you try to fit in. Of course, you have to know, for example, what key people are playing in, so that you know which of the notes which will harmonize in that particular key. You won't play a B flat in the middle of a D major, for example. It won't really fit. But I was thinking also that harmony is actually a Greek word. Harmonia, I don't know if you pronounce it, that's exactly how it was called. She was a goddess, I think the daughter of Aphrodite and Ares, I'm not sure. But she was the goddess of harmony in a way, especially marital harmony and other sorts of social harmony. So she sort of presided over things, and it actually means, from the Greek, it means to join together in agreement. So that's what the origin of the word is, Greek, and it's actually a Greek goddess. So how to join together with people in such a way that you will contribute in a way. You at the same time are recognizing what you have in common with others so that you can get on the same track. For example, using the musical metaphor, people are all playing in the key of A minor, for example, and you know what are the notes that will be appropriate. Then you use your own ability to sort of play around with those notes or chords, and you can sort of jazz along in a way, just play along. So it means to join together in such a way that you are in agreement with people, you're accepting the differences, you recognize what you have in common, and you connect with others. So harmony also means to join in a way. So in a way, it's the same meaning as yoga. To join together with someone in such a way that everything can flow for a while, more or less like that. That's the way I look at harmony. But it's really, it's not just about overcoming conflicts. It's about preventing conflicts from happening in the first place. These are the sorts of things that were coming to my mind just now when you were talking. And of course, it's all based, like any of these values, all based on our inner state. So I can't really harmonize with others. In our language, we say harmonizing of sanskars. That means people have differences. People have sometimes very big differences. Some people are very pragmatic, very down to earth, and then someone comes along who's just a dreamer, just thinking years ahead, just having an inspiration of something that's very hard to pin down. So you got these two people, right? One's very down to earth, pragmatic, practical, wanting to act, and the other sort of just dreaming and lost in his feelings about that. And so, of course, we have to harmonize with others on the basis of that, those their qualities. So I have to be attentive. Where is this person at? I have to try to listen behind the words. I have to sort of anticipate. So that's why I like this musical analogy, because if you're really in tune with others and you're playing together with others in a sort of improvised way, just like a jam session, then you're also anticipating what people are doing. You see, sort of tune into each other. You pick up even before they do something or add something, you know what they're going to do. So it's a very pleasant thing. You can't go into that sort of arrangement thinking that you're gonna show off and you're gonna show them how things are done. You'll lose it. You won't be able to play along with others if you're selfish. So there's a lot of lessons in playing music with others.
I was wondering because, I was thinking, harmony, is it really a virtue like I have to harmonize? Or for me in relationships, you may feel like to adjust, to cooperate, to face. These are, for example, 3 practices or 3 expression of my personal practice that are very specific. But I was wondering if I need to make effort to harmonize, or if harmonizing comes from a deeper state of being where it will happen naturally if I'm centered somewhere deep within myself. Because I was wondering, do I need to make effort to harmonize? Or when I'm trying to harmonize, am I not just actually trying to adjust and to face and to cooperate or to bend or bow or blend or, is harmonizing really what we're trying to do, or is harmonizing the consequence of something? I'm not sure if it's clear what I'm asking, but I was questioning myself and I didn't have the answer. So I thought you may have a trail of an answer here.
I think, if you feel, I think the foundation of being able to harmonize is to have a loveful attitude towards others, a more benevolent attitude. But it also, for example, you can see that people want to get along. And that's probably what they understand as harmony. People definitely don't like to live in disharmony over a long period of time with others. And it's certainly connected to the fact that it's to do with the practice of our original qualities. So when we're more closer to our original self, then we naturally harmonize not only with others, but with nature and everything. Like everything's just one big flow. And when I'm trying to flow in my own direction, and people don't necessarily want that, and then you start to compensate. And I would definitely say that harmonizing with others is not just exercising some compensation. Let's say I'm a very timid person and you're a very arrogant and aggressive person, so let me get along with you. So I'm adjusting my timidity to your aggressiveness, and I call that harmony. It's not harmony. It's just a fake sort of compensation. I really believe that we can only harmonize on the basis of our qualities rather than our defects. So defects are, you could say, are virtues without any power or direction. Or
so how would you push that example? You're timid, I'm arrogant. So harmonizing will be what? You not reacting to my arrogance and remaining timid?
Yeah, exactly. I will try to blunt my timidity. I realize that I'm making you upset, and I try to sort of swallow your arrogance. And so I'm trying to play my own defect down and sort of lessen the impact of your defect. And I can't really call that harmony. It's just like a game. It's called the game of the ego. So harmonizing with others is really not just a game of the egos involved. And I'll get along with you if you get along with me. I love you, you love me. You can inflate me, I can inflate you. I know what your buttons are, and so let's get along. I know which buttons to press, you know which buttons to press in me, and let's get along. It's really not harmony. It's it's like treading on broken glass.
Mm-hmm. But do you think we can, do you see harmony as something I can generate on my own? Or, and if I generate harmony on my own, is it then just me who is going to feel I'm in harmony and the other one will still feel I'm totally disconnected? Is like, for me, like, for example, to face, to adjust, to tolerate, I can do it on my own. And other people, doesn't matter. I mean, I'm tolerating, I'm facing, I'm adjusting, I'm happy, I'm okay. And what the others do, I don't know. But for me, I was wondering can I say I'm harmonizing on my own, or will it be at the end that I feel I'm in harmony, but the other one doesn't feel so?
Yeah, I guess it's a question of scale.
Scale.
You've got harmony, but not enough to impact others.
Right.
I remember, going back to Alokic work, for example, where we have a constant exhibition of a lack of harmony sometimes. And when things are flowing along nicely, there's a friendly atmosphere and people are really going ahead. It really is a very charged atmosphere. Everyone's. I think it's really quite natural. I remember that I was working. I studied chemistry. I was working in research and development in a company called Max Factor in the laboratory, developing creams and shampoos and all that sort of stuff, cosmetics. And I really didn't have. I was living in a centre. This was the first centre in Sydney. And the workplace was just a few blocks away from the centre. So I was just very new to this, to Brahma Kumaris, and I was sort of getting up, really having great meditation and understanding things, and I was in a sort of bliss, I would suppose. And I'd go to work in that state of consciousness, and very naturally, without even thinking about it, I was gentle and kind to others, respectful. And then there was a guy there who was also doing the same work as me, but he was getting up late every morning because he'd go out in clubs and pubs and stuff and wake up with a hangover, and he would come to work not in a very good mood, and he was naturally not so kind and gentle to others. He was a bit rough with others, a bit gruff with others. And it was quite a contrast in a way. And you can see very clearly that people would receive me. And in those days, people used to smoke at work. I'm talking about the late 70s. People used to smoke cigarettes at work. It was pretty common. But I noticed that people did not swear when I was around. People did not smoke cigarettes when I was around. Not that I told them anything. It's just that I was sort of generating an atmosphere where smoking and swearing were not contemplated. And of course, when this guy was around, everyone was, he's in a really rough attitude most days. And he had better qualifications than me, actually. And when the chance came up for a promotion, even though I had less qualifications than he did, I was able to get through my work very much faster than him, because as a meditator, we don't have too much competition with useless thinking. So I could see very clearly. And it was like, at that time I was working as a perfumist, which is basically you have an olfactory memory. You have to remember things. And constantly, very concentrated work. And so I got through the work twice as fast as he did. And I was just naturally respectful for others. So I could say I had a harmonizing influence. And people would say, when you are around, things work. They were very grateful for my presence. Whereas the other guy, he came in and people, oh my God, this guy again. Sort of, you could feel the atmosphere change because he was an angry person. So yes, harmony is something we produce for ourselves, but if you scale it up a bit, it will impact on others.
It feels to me that from your example also, it's not that you were trying to create harmony.
No.
Just came as a result of other values. And that's why when in this series, with, values for life, I think sometimes it would be interesting to do maybe a session with you and other seniors about the categories of values and I'm not sure myself how would I put them in categories and different time, but I find some values are proactive, some values are, the fruit of the other ones, some are necessary for another one to happen, or I'm sure there must be an interesting connection between values, and they're not all, achieving the same thing. But I see from your example that harmony is almost like the perfume itself you were creating. It comes out from the combination of different chemical elements. And I feel this harmony is like, in that case, you didn't create harmony by choice, but it came as a result of your attitude, your values, and probably the state of how you felt yourself within yourself.
Well, if you're making an effort, right, and you're consciously making the effort, there will be a little bit of tension which will take away your impact anyway. So we have to make sure that we're closer to our natural state. I see the different virtues as secondary colors. Like another area of harmony is art, right? The harmonizing of colors, which colors blend with each other, which don't, So you've got all of these warm colors, and you put a very sort of dark purple in with these reds and yellows and sort of light greens and things, pastel colors, and suddenly there's a very dark purple. It sort of shocks into these shocks. So the blending of colors is interesting, because if you make green, for example, mixing blue and yellow, right? You make purple by mixing blue and red. So these so-called primary colors, the red, yellow, blue, and so on, they are like our deep qualities, like peace, love, happiness, these deep qualities. And the virtues are secondary qualities, secondary colors in a way. So they're a mixture of qualities. Virtues are mixtures of qualities. So instead of worrying about having a palette full of all of the, I don't know how many different colors there are, the different virtues, just keep close to the primary colors, and you're pretty okay. There's an interesting. So I've been working on. I've got to do a retreat here on the power of discernment and decision making. So I was interested. Discernment is not something for you to help you to understand the difference between black and white. It's to help you with the different shades of gray. And so how many shades of gray are there? The thousands, maybe. And so in the same way, if I'm trying to get along with people, and just by putting everything into blacks and whites, it won't work. I have to discern. And I have to sort of see what color is missing in a way. Even if I can help, if I'm in a deeper state and I have access to the original qualities, then I can produce the colors necessary for the scene or the situation. And in a way, as you say, it becomes more natural. And if there's any conscious effort to do that, the tension will probably detract from the impact.
So tell me, how do you, let's be practical, and how do you deal with, let's say, a very typical meditation center? I don't know if it's Brahma Kumaris, could be. And in that meditation center, you put 10 individuals. Earlier in your example, there were 2. One was timid, the other one was arrogant. Let's add 8 more with kind of entertaining characteristics, all different. So you put those 10 people in a meditation center. They all want to be perfect yogis and good yogis and create love and peace, but they can't help it. Their personality is very strong. So the arrogant one is really still fighting his arrogance. The timid one is, desperately timid, and so on and so forth. What is harmony going to be looking like in there? Is just wait and struggle for 20 years and maybe there will be harmony after 20 years? Or is there any trick, in your chemistry studies, do you know any potion that can be given to everyone so then they...
Would
it be subjective? My question is then, is harmony then becoming almost subjective? That one illuminatives, one highly happy person in the group will say, oh, everything is so beautiful, I feel the harmony. But then I think they're drinking too much herb tea or something, but they feel deep harmony, but there isn't harmony. So how would you juggle harmony in that group of entertaining people in a meditation center?
Well, you see, I found that if there is collective meditation, the discrepancies of attitude and behavior are less. So
keep everyone quiet. Keep everyone.
Well, the thing is that God is the centerpiece, right? And if I'm here and the other one's here and the other one's here, we're all over the place, but God's in the middle, and I come close and that one comes close and this one comes close, so we're pretty much in the same vibration. And so the differences will melt away the closer we come to the source. Now, if I'm just doing my own thing, trying to go ahead in my own way, and my ego is sort of acting up, whatever way, because the timid person has ego and the arrogant one has ego, both of them. And they're sort of stuck in a way. And I don't know, there's a beautiful image in the town. People have been talking about the Amazon forest a lot, and of course in Brazil, the forest is so big that the whole of Europe can fit in the forest, right? But the river, the Amazon River, even 1,500 kilometers from the coast, these big ships can come, right? So you can imagine how deep and big it is, the river. And so at the confluence of two main rivers that actually make up the Amazon, one is called Solimões, and the other one is called Rio Negro, sort of Black River. And they come together at a town called Manaus, which is a huge city in the middle of the jungle. And so the Solimões river is brown color, it's muddy. The Rio Negro is black color, it's very dark sort of water, sort of dark, not because it's black, but it is very clear, and where it comes from, I think below the surface, the land is a little bit darker, so the river looks black. And they come together, these two big rivers, huge, a brown one and a black one. And they come together at Manaus, and then for 25 kilometers, they flow side by side. You've got a black river and a brown one flowing side by side. But because the brown river is more volume, it's actually a golden color. So you've got a golden colored river and you've got a black colored river. The golden colored river takes over, and the black one disappears because they blend up. So in a way, if I'm insisting on my own way of doing things, and this is the way, and this is the way that I want, and the flow is golden, I have to sort of blend up with it. So that sort of attitude of blending in with others, but we studied here, it's called the ability to mix with others, right? The ability to mix with others is that to know, not be so insistent with your own way of being, and recognize the what's going to take over is much greater than any of us. So in a meditation center where we're supposed to be putting into practice all of these values and virtues through our meditation, I have to recognize that that's the energy that I have to blend in with. And if I do that, I won't come into shock with others. If I insist on being my own little black river, I'll have a lot of problems.
So what's been your experience in harmonizing? Is it always been fairly natural, or did you find that you had to really make certain changes, specific changes in yourself, so that more harmony is generated around you?
I think it's a challenge for all of us. It helps to understand that people have attitudes and behaviors which are very distinct and different. And so if you look at people's behavior, like the 5 elements, you've got people who are earth types, who are very down to earth, very practical, very action oriented. And then you've got water type people who are very sort of relationship oriented, and they like harmony and they like cups of tea and stuff. And then you've got the fire type people who are full of ideas, and they can't handle meetings, they can't handle, it has to be now and it has to be done immediately. And then you've got the air type people who are logical and always thinking that they're process oriented. So you've got people oriented, process oriented, harmony oriented, idea oriented rather, and you've got the people that are sort of action oriented, and they're trying to work together. Now, if I don't have to suppress my qualities, but my qualities can also be a problem for others. Let's say I'm a detailed type person. I love details. I love process. And the other person's, thinking on the moon and having cups of tea. Let me recognize, and this is where the effort is, let me recognize what people's preferences are. Let me pay attention to them. I love and this is a constant sort of attention, the Chinese character for active listening. Is very beautiful. So there's all sorts of bits. One bit is the eye, so the eye contact. One bit is the heart, so the heart contact. One bit is sort of a line connecting you and me. One bit signifies the other person is a king. So let me pay attention, and one is the ears, the eyes, and the heart, and the line between us and the king. So let me pay attention to someone in such a way, let me put him as a king, let me have full attention, and then I'll pick up what he's saying and I can associate with him. Otherwise, the harmony won't be there. It's the same when you're playing in a band with people. You have to pay attention. You have to where is that person's strengths at? Let me help him. Where's that person's weakness? Let me fill in something that he can't do at the moment. That sort of thing is a constant challenge for me.
I'm listening to you, and I may want to again go back to one idea. It may be redundant, but just to make sure I can use it practically in that context of when we're different people. You refer to the musical analogy. If you're playing in a band, and let's say not everyone really wants to create harmony. So you decided, okay, we're going to play in such a key, but others keep playing different music of their own. Is harmony going to remain forever a very subjective, personal experience? Or is there a need to create harmony in those circumstances? Know what I mean? And the other way to ask the question is, to what extent I just need to focus on myself, and then eventually my harmony will generate harmony for the whole group, even if they don't want to.
I think it's both subjective and objective. because relationships are dynamic, they're not static, and they do change over time. So there has to be, I can't, if I don't relate to others, it's even impossible to harmonize with others. And the relationship is actually the communication that I have with the person. So if I don't talk to anybody, I don't interact with anybody, then the thing of harmonization becomes a little bit strange. It is actually, when you say harmonize, it's relationships that have to be harmonized to grow together in a way. So it's a little bit objective and subjective, because growing together means that I have to check myself, but I also have to fit in with others in a way. So it is a constant effort. If I live alone, I'm in perfect harmony. I don't interact with anyone, but I'm in harmony with the world in a way, but I don't interact. So it's a bit ridiculous.
Because
and
I'm
I
thinking
think you have to interact with others. You have to sort of have fun together sometimes. You have to work together. You have to meet together. You have to talk together. So communication is the key thing to any relationship, and it involves both things, speaking and listening. So when I'm speaking, let me be clear and honest, respectful. And when I'm listening, let me be attentive, open-minded, curious, and then I'll sort of pick it up. There's a good question that I use for people, especially when I'm working with leaders. I ask them, are people happier when you arrive or when you leave?
Yeah.
What it means, and there may be a third reaction, they're completely indifferent to your existence. That doesn't mean you have to be a sort of a goody-goody saint type person, but people should appreciate your presence. And that means that both sides, you're being subjective, and at the same time, you're being objective by trying to fit in, So if you're not aware of the impact, like some people wouldn't even know, you go out of the room and everyone says, thank God he's gone. Wow, wonderful. Or when you come into the room, people's faces light up. You can see that. If people, I remember a guy, I said this once, and the guy was telling me he'd been away for 3 months and he used to go to a restaurant every day for his lunch. And he got back after the 3 months away, and he went to the restaurant. He asked the owner of the restaurant, I'm back again. Did anyone ask about me when I was away? And the owner of the restaurant said, no. I said, no impact. So if we all had a little bit of more positive impact on our respective worlds, I think the world would be a better place to live in.
it's interesting because I think many are dealing with the same effort. Some trying to create harmony in their family, even if they're not yogis or they're not, spiritual, but they want to create harmony in their family with their wife, their children. Some try to create harmony sometimes at work. And for us, we try to create harmony in the meditation centers amongst the volunteers. And I'm thinking that, if you recall, many years ago, often the problem in the centers were also, we need more unity. We need more unity. And as if, we were trying to force unity. And today I'm hearing less that kind of talk. There's less this kind of complaint that there need to be more unity, because it came after the result of many years of, working together. And so for meditation center, it's working because we do other things. For some families, it's difficult to create harmony or unity in the family. So I'm wondering if maybe sometimes it's a question of, a balance of chemistry. Like in chemistry, you need a few quantity of ingredients to become dominant enough to impact the whole solution. And maybe the approach is if in a group of 10 people, 2 are really stubborn and don't want to know anything, maybe the solution is, well, what about if only 4 or 5 really generate something collectively that will impact the rest of the group? Do you think that would work like that? Or?
I think so. The problem is, what's the standard that you're trying to create that says there's unity? Because unifying doesn't mean to homogenize everything, right? To make everything the same. It doesn't mean that. It means to allow diversity, yet to share some commonalities, share things that we have in common, for example. If the group can at least do that, there'll be more unity. For example, we have the same source, which would be God the Supreme. We have the same sort of idea that we want to become more pure in our thinking, in our words and our actions. So we've got the same standards of the same ethics and same actually serving others is our dharma, right? The way that we are. It's our DNA serving others. So we do have a lot of things in common. And if we can recognize and celebrate what we have in common, at the same time allowing for differences and diversity of ideas and, mannerisms and so on, I think we've got a better chance of creating unity than someone arriving and say, look, this is what unity is and let's get it happening. It won't be like that. I remember I was working many years as a consultant, and there was this guy in the north of Brazil. He just got back from Japan, and there was something called the 5S way of doing things. It's like quality. It was the time of total quality management, right? And so it was a bit of a fashion to have everything total quality. And this guy comes back from Japan, and he wants everyone to follow these 5 S's, a way of organizing things, a way of setting up meetings, all of that according to these criteria that he had learnt in Japan. Of course, he's working with Brazilians. They don't, it's a complete different culture. They do things in a different way. They're less disciplined. So you've got to go about that in a different way. It's not just setting down the laws of discipline and organization. No. In fact, he was creating so much trouble. He asked me to come in. It was a semi-government organization. He wanted to know what the problem was. In the end, I had to tell him that the problem was him.
Oops.
Oops. Because he was trying to embed a different, set up in a culture, a totally different culture. It wouldn't work. You have to respect the way people do things and make the best of what you have in common. That's what you can do. Make the best of what you have in common and allow for diversification.
No, we have, I think, just a few minutes before, I think we entertain some questions, right? But I think one word we haven't spoken about yet, which in my experience, and I may be wrong, but I think it's essential, is the word love. We haven't used that word yet. And I don't know what you think, but I'll be curious because I've been working quite hard on that one. And what was one of my personal realization when I was trying to understand how to have greater feelings for everyone and how to be, I wouldn't say harmony, but, more this, loving giant, generating maybe harmony and loving everyone, realizing that I'm not loving everyone. I came upon this thought that one of the most damaging effect of my ego was what I call selfishness. And I realized that there was selfishness in wanting to be satisfied. I mean, many subtle forms of selfishness. And I realized my selfishness is preventing me from loving people properly, because I want something out of them. And if they don't make me happy, I don't like them. And if they don't make me feel good, I don't like them, or I like them less. And so I was, playing with this notion, where is my selfishness? Can I remove selfishness? Of course, in French, it's the same root. Égoïsme and ego is just connected. So, and I realized that my ability to love was affected by my selfishness, being my desires from other people. And if I could reduce that selfishness, it would really change my connection with others. So do you have any take on that, or do you think I'm in the right track, or is there any hint from you to how to remove selfishness?
I think you're right. And I did say before that the foundation of harmony is love. But we didn't really explore it. But the other foundation of harmony, one is love, the other is contentment. And so if I work on being content, more content with myself, less judgmental of myself, and being able to recognize what I have to share that's good, and recognizing what I have to share which is not so good, and making a sort of inner effort, then I can sort of calm down the inner waters, let's say. And I think as I move towards contentment internally, it really helps me to, because ego is a sort of or selfishness is a sort of a fake attempt at being happy with yourself.
A fake attempt. Let me write it down. A fake attempt to be. Everybody write it down. Fake attempt to be happy with the self. Thank you. That makes my day.
So in a way, I mean, I allow for weaknesses because I'm hiding them from myself. And I'm sort of just, okay, everything's fine, but it's not fine. Contentment is related to the word content, right? So if you don't have the content, you won't have contentment. You need to have the right contents in you. And so if you're working on that, you're understanding it, you're not sort of hiding your own weaknesses under the carpet, but you're also being attentive not to share them with others. And I guess that's what humility is all about. When you're egoistic, you don't care about sharing weaknesses with others. You just let it all out, right? So if there's contentment on one side and you're working on it, and then I guess the natural quality of the soul is love. The natural quality of the soul is love. And since harmony is a question of relationships and interaction, communication of some sort, if you put loving feelings into the way we connect with others, then the result will be better. Because we're not loving. I think we love people to make them love us back. But when there's less ego, I love people just for the sake of love, not for any other reason. I'm not trying to impress people. I'm not trying to, if I come from a position of insecurity, the ego is practically guaranteed. It's like the defense of the insecure. So if I start to love naturally, like when I remember God, I remember the way he loves me, and I remember the way he loves everyone else. So why can't I love me and love others the way he loves me and loves others? So I have to sort of balance that out, and then I'll probably be a better contributor to the play of harmony.
I was hearing Dr. Manoj saying you wrote 18 books, and I thought, my goodness, 18 books. When do you find the time to write 18 books? But I think I have the title for your 19th book. avoiding fake attempt to be happy with yourself. I think
Say that again, because it sort of cut off in the middle. What did you say?
No, I think the 19th book you can write, the title could be Avoiding Fake Attempt to be Happy with Yourself.
Yeah. I think,
I love to read that book.
if you have the quality, again, back to the essence, if we have our original qualities, peace, love, happiness, truth, purity, let's say, those 5, and we're making a concerted, doing the right endeavor to have those qualities come up naturally, then I don't need to worry about if I'm harmonizing or not with others. I will definitely be very positive impact on the different spheres that I'm involved with, the people. And I don't have to think about it, actually. You see, the whole thing of helping others is not a popularity contest. It really comes from the heart.
Well, a lot of magic mantras, I think, Ken, I'm really taking from that conversation for sure. And I was wondering, Dr. Manoj, do you feel we should entertain some questions now, or because I'm sure there must be people thinking, about that harmony. And I really appreciate, Ken, what you just shared. And I think we learn, from each other so much. And it's such, I think when learning opens doors to new possibilities for the self, it's so exciting. So thank you. I feel very excited now.
So thank you so much. And I think it was wonderful that the journey of how to develop this quality of harmony, it reminds me one of the quotes from Deepak Chopra, who's a very famous best-selling author, that harmony, as brother Ken referred to it very aptly, that harmony is not something you have to create. It is something that exists within and waiting to be discovered. Because all these basic 4 or 5 qualities of the soul, which you all covered, the peace, love, happiness, truth, and purity, are indeed, I must say, the foundation of harmony. And let me just now ask you about another value and another aspect of harmony. Maybe one of you can answer that. Maybe Brother Eric can answer this, because you have been asking a lot of questions, so you should be answering now. So happiness is... So one of the quotes from Mahatma Gandhi is about happiness. That happiness is when what you think, you say, and when you do, all these 3 are in sync, are in harmony. So when my thought, word, and action is in congruence, I am really at ease and harmony. So do you want to speak a little bit about this aspect of harmony? Thought, word, and action.
I would tend to agree very much with how Ken will phrase it. But I want to let him phrase it personally, so I don't paraphrase Ken. So Ken, what do you think?
Oh, you're passing the buck to me.
Well, you handle it very well,
I think the thing is that there's something behind thoughts, words, and actions that we have to sort out. We understand it as the right consciousness. So thoughts, words, and actions happen not in a haphazard way, but because there's some foundation to them. So the way I think, speak, and act is very much connected with what I believe myself to be at that particular moment. So consciousness is what I think I am, right? And there are basically 2 categories of consciousness. One is, we call it soul consciousness. The other is body consciousness. So if I'm, basically I am is followed by some noun or an adjective or both. I'm a man, for example. I'm an ugly man. I'm the boss. I'm your brother. I am a world server. Well, all of those I am that consciousness, what I believe myself to be, will condition what I say, what I think, speak, and say and do. And the only way that I can bring speaking, thinking, and doing into sync, as Manoj said, synchronized, is if underlying all of those three things, I've got the right consciousness. So I, for example, and this is what we play with in meditation, you look at yourself at any moment during the day, there's an I am something or the other behind it all. Even saying I'm late, for example, then that will set off thoughts, words, and actions of lateness. Or I'm too early, I've arrived too early, and then another set of thoughts, words, and actions. So if I want to sort out thoughts, words, and actions, I better sort out what I understand myself to be really behind it all. Yes, I mean, that's what.
Yes, I think I like your way of handling the bucket. So that's good.
So
for me, the reason I like to listen to Ken as well is because, I mean, to write 18 books, you must have had a lot of thinking about these things. And I do, of course, myself. I like to churn a lot. I like to write for myself. I have a journal. I love this process, but I'm always sometimes, lately, I've become not doubtful of my thinking, but I want to be very humble in my knowledge. And I question sometimes formulas that I can create, which look so beautiful. And sometimes I ask myself, okay, I may say something very nice, when my thoughts, words, and actions are in harmony. And sometimes I talk to myself and I say, Eric, what are you talking about? Please, Eric, tell me, when was the last time your thoughts, words, and actions were in harmony, and tell me why you think so. And sometimes it's not I want to doubt everything. I just want to work on being real and making sure that sometimes when I share concepts, it comes from, deeper experiences and reality. And I know, Ken, because when you came to my place, I still remember our very, very nice conversations in my kitchen around the table. And what I liked, what you told me was always, I always felt, Eric, just be real in your understanding. Don't make up beautiful ideas. Like the Deepak Chopra quote is beautiful. But to me, these are the quotes that sometimes are so poetic that I don't know what they mean, really. It's like almost saying, the chicken is not to be bought in a store. He's within you. Just eat the chicken within. And I say, okay, it's a great image, but I'm still hungry after that. Well, I don't eat chicken, but the tofu or something. So it's a great concept. But sometimes I think we lose ourselves in certain formulas. And so for me, happiness, harmony, these are beautiful some beautiful ideas, values that I'm exploring. But I still feel I'm really much on the path. And that's why, without being falsely humble, I like when you can present ideas, because you make them real, you make them grounded in, okay, what do I do? And I know we have very real questions. Also, I saw one about, what do you do with an arrogant person who is arrogant to the point of abuse? And you're still trying to harmonize with your serial killer. How do you harmonize with your serial killer?
I think the real situations that are happening around us day by day, for example, we have our regular routine, and I try to be attentive to what's happening at the moment. I don't think about, tomorrow I'm going down to the south of the country. It's an area where there are floods at the moment. So, but I'm not going to think about that today. I'll think about it when I'm on the plane, maybe. But
the plane land on water, then you'll be thinking about it.
Maybe. The thing is that we are surrounded by real situations and real people who are going through real stuff. So let me be more attentive to what's around me. Then I don't get caught up in, speculations and fantasizing. I think I spend my day in a very simple sort of state of mind. I'm not thinking about these great thoughts while I'm just sort of zooming around, just moving around, cruising around. I'm just in a very simple state of mind. And that I find helps me to be more real to, what's happening and so on. Things are simple, actually. Everyone has a role to play. I have to concentrate on playing my best role. And people will be different. Let them be different. Why not? It's not a sin to be different. So allow people to be as whatever they can be, and I'll be the best that I can be. That's about as much as I can do.
So in a practical way, because I realized the question was sent to me directly, so you don't see it, but the question was how to create harmony when someone who is very arrogant to the point of abuse, and you're trying to create harmony in the relationship. Let's say you may be caught with that person, being beyond trying and just feeling harmony within, silence, power, good wishes. Is that the way, or any other ways?
I think for some people, the only thing you can do is have good wishes. On not just good wishes, mercy, because if they're consistently making this sort of mistake, they will have to pay for it sometime or the other, and so the suffering will be greater. So I'm already having mercy for the suffering that may be in the future of that person. So I'm not taking it personally. I don't take this sort of stuff personally. People are as whatever they can be, right? Whatever they're able to be, that's exactly what they're doing and being. So I'm not going to judge or punish people because they have a strange behavior. But I don't. If I take it on board, and it affects me, then I'm part of it. You see, I'm part of that whole game. If I don't take it on board, if I just see it, be merciful and not try to attenuate whatever they're saying or doing as much as you can. That's all I can do. There's a person like that that I'm in regular contact with, but just I try to help that person see their qualities, and I don't sort of rub their nose in their mess in a way. Allow them to be what they can be, and to attenuate for what they are able to be.
So we'll just take another concept, and a question coming up in the chat box closely relates to that. And Brother Ken reminded us of floods. So speaking of another concept of harmony between my inner nature and the nature outside, leading to all this crisis of climate change. So do you want to comment that how can we correct this climate change? And how can we rebuild our harmony, the inner harmony with the world outside, which we are living in?
Come on, Ken, you can do it. It's a big bucket. How do you fix climate change in 1 second?
I don't think it's, I think first of all, we have to recognize that our style of life is really, just because we're spiritual, it doesn't mean we're actually helping the climate. Like I have to go down to the south tomorrow because they're celebrating 40 years. And so, I mean, my carbon footprint for tomorrow will be quite big. But I can get around that by helping people to understand that they have to treat nature more respectfully and more resourcefully. So I can get around it. I'll have a big carbon footprint tomorrow on the plane, but I'll also be giving a talk to about 500 people. in which I can mention that please let everyone needs to be more rational in their approach to using material resources and goods. So you create a problem one side, and then but let's face it, the world's in a mess because human beings are in a mess. And it's not that nature. I live in a retreat center, and it's absolutely stunningly beautiful here. Just mountains and forests. And at the moment, the rainy season has just started, so everything's sprouting up. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful where I am. But I know that nature is not exactly emanating peace. It's just reminding me of the peace that I don't have. So there's a reason why the same word is used, inner nature and that the external nature. When you see nature in its natural state, this is what I try to do. This is the way I try to live, and it's my contribution in a way. Nature is generous. The sun doesn't charge for its light. The water comes down from the sky and it fills up our mineral springs here, and it's not we're not being charged for the water, we're not being charged for the air, and we're not being charged for the light. Nature is generous. So if I am generous, I'm as natural as nature is. Let me be generous with people. Let me give whatever I have to give. If I know something, let me share it. If I realize something, let me help people to understand it better. So having a generous nature brings me into more contact with the natural nature, right? And the fact that we're all stingy and sort of hoarding into things, we're sort of crushing the environment in a way, because we're not opening up as we should, and so therefore there's lots of problems. The pollution here and the pollution outside there's a connection. And so the cleanliness here and the cleanliness outside, there's a connection. So let me be clean and generous as nature is in its natural state. That's all I would say.
So coming to another aspect which Brother Eric can answer, it's about the big mess. Someone is asking that, speaking of the mess which Brother Ken started, that I am in a big mess with my personal and professional life. I can't strike a balance. And the word balance comes very closely in relation to harmony. So he's saying, I am not able to harmonize my work life and my personal life. So what do I do to develop that balance and harmony between both of them?
Well, I can share something, and Ken certainly also complement it. My personal journey has been one where I always said that my professional life and my spiritual life were braiding each other. It was like a braid. It was just like always intertwining. And I always feel that one is the mirror of the other. And when I went through big moments in my spiritual life, that will always correspond to something also that will happen in my professional life. And so the work was for a long time almost as if I had two lives, and I was trying to harmonize them. And one day the Janki told me, well, Eric, your consciousness at work should be the same as your consciousness as the center, the one that you have at the center. So for someone who would go to church would be when you're in a church, whatever you feel and experience, you should create that at your workplace. So in Hindi, we use the word laukik for the mundane life and alaukik for the more spiritual life. And I decided to merge those two words and say, I'm not laukik or alaukik. It becomes lucky. I'm just lucky. That's it. Enjoy. Everything is okay. And I used to think, okay, now in my spiritual life, I'm serving, I'm helping, I'm doing God's service. And I decided to think the same way when I go to work. And so I'm not going to work, I'm going to serve. And it's illusion that I'm working, I'm actually serving. So if I tend to separate the two, professional life and personal life, I think that's where it becomes a struggle. But if we create a vision of it's one life, they're doing different things, but it's the same life, I find, to me, it made it much easier, and it changed completely my perspective. So when I was in a meeting at work, I tend to think, yeah, this is like being in a meeting at the center. Same, no difference. My intention, my attitude, my feeling should be the same. And that helped me a lot in the last 15 years, I would say, of my professional career.
Okay, so I think, sorry, brother, Ken, you wanted to say something? Yeah.
No, I think I just agree 100% with Eric. We've only got one life, not 2 or 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
So it's just
there was
one
also,
life.
there was also a
One
question.
life in different instances of the same life. That's
yes. And Manoj Bhai, there's also a question sent to me, but it's better if people send questions to you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not receiving them. You are receiving them. So you can go ahead.
No, it's just one that could be, I think the answer has been given extensively from the beginning, but someone was asking, how would you describe harmony in human values and how it affects our emotions? Is it compatibility, inner peace, calm, or would you like to hear your thoughts? But I think we share that a lot from the beginning. But
we did talk about it.
With other question, maybe if Ken has another element, we can add it. But I think the answer to that question is overall the conversation we had from the beginning. But Manoj Bhai, if you have others.
Yeah, so I have just one more question. In the interest of time, I would want you all to answer briefly. I'll take 2 questions. The first question is, someone is saying that at the BKs, the Brahma Kumaris, to be very specific, there is a concept which they are not able to digest. The concept of golden age is coming, where there's a lot of harmony in the sanskars of all the people staying over there, the so-called deities. So is this really possible, or is an imaginary thing, the golden age? The question.
And Bhai?
Sounds like, sometimes it sounds like fantasy land when we talk about the golden age, but if you look at the world that we have, if you can imagine, if we know that day and night are so completely opposite, in the night there's dark, there's no light around, and everyone's stumbling around in the shadows, but then suddenly the sun comes up and you can't even remember that it was night just a few hours before, because the sun illuminates everything starts to have color and brightness. And so if you're living in a very dark patch, it's very hard to imagine the light. But it has just as much to right, the night has just as much right to exist as the day, and vice versa. So if you can imagine the complete opposite of today's world, why wouldn't it have a right to exist? The thing is that people want to have love, peace, happiness. The thing, and people that really genuinely want it can have the chance to live in that. Can you imagine living in a way that there's absolutely no worry, there's absolutely no tension, there's absolutely no confusion, there's no conflict? That sort of world has just as much right to exist as a world full of confusion and conflict and darkness. So if you're in a dark place, you can't imagine how bright things could be. And if you're in a bright place, you're probably not even thinking about how dark things could become. So it's the opposite. Just make the opposite of what you're feeling, and you find that you're also a resident of such a world.
Sometimes, I feel that if you were to go 200 years back in time and tell them, in 200 years, this is how we're going to live and this is how the world is going to be, they would have thought, are you out of your mind? This is not going to be possible.
Right.
So I don't think that we should really necessarily think of it as, something we can understand with the elements we have in our brain at the moment. So the other question, and I think, Brother Manoj, it's nice if we if we can ask Ken also for the last 5 minutes to take us into a little experience of meditation, because I don't know if I can ask him to sing, but he can certainly come and do a meditation commentary, or we listen to one of his songs and then we meditate together. But
sure. So I'll just take this last question in the interest of time. The question is about acceptance. I'm not able to accept people at workplace as they are. Does that mean I'll never be able to develop harmony with them?
Accept? Well, I think first of all, you have to accept yourself. If you can accept yourself with all of your, all of your rough edges and your good points and your bad points, if you can accept yourself, you should be able to accept others. I think the ability to accept others is connect with your ability to accept your own self. And that means recognizing and being humble about what you can't do and being happy about what you can do. If you can do that, you can do it with others. Yeah.
Great. Spot on answer. Accepting self is the key to accept others. Yeah. Thank you so much. So now I'll request our seniors with us, Dr. Ashok Mehta and Sister Claudia, to propose the vote of thanks. So over to both of you.
Om Shanti, Ken Bhai and Eric Bhai.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. I think the dialogue between two of you was a fascinating example of harmony. You talk to each other in such a harmonious way and brought home the message of harmony whenever you interact with anybody. One of the things which I always remember what Dadi Prakashmani used to say about harmony was harmony, accept your defeat. In other words, give other men an opportunity to feel happy that he is right. I think there were in a very simple words, she expressed something which was very subtle. And of course, the last part of the dialogue, which you said, to accept, that's what Baba says. So, as I am, I should accept myself, and I should also accept others as they are. In other words, acceptance is a key to the harmony. So thank you very much. I think both of you have such fantastic vocabulary that I'm amazed, because that how much you can talk on a subject like harmony in such a beautiful way. Congratulations and thank you. I think this was one of the very, very interesting dialogues that we have heard in last 75 dialogues or whatever the talks we had. Congratulations to both of you. And congratulations to Manoj Bhai for bringing in such a fantastic pair together.
Thanks, Ashok Bhai. So nice to see you.
I think you and the whole team brings this harmony in the, how can it last 75 episodes without harmony, right?
Om Shanti, it was very wonderful to see it and have this Jubilee session today in harmony, because it's like Ken said, that is, we need to have the diversity. And I always say that we have diversity in our own family. The father and mother has 4 kids, like in our case, we are all different. So when we work here in Vancouver with the city, and they always talk about diversity. So you have to accept everybody that comes with a different background. So if we don't accept them, we cannot live together. So I quite like when Ken brought back again that point of accepting the diversity within the family. And that way we can be harmonious. So as much as we accept, easy is going to be. So thank you very much to both of you. It was just wonderful. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks so much for all.
Indeed, it was a platinum episode, so it has to rock much more better than the others. I mean, I'm not trying to compare that way. Yeah, so I'll now switch on to Sister Anu. She can do the announcements. And all of you, please be ready for your photograph to be clicked. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Manoj. And we are really thankful for this very, very rich discussion today between both of you, Brother Ken, Brother Eric. And we are taking a lot with us, and we will be churning again. So some people were asking where they can find the recorded videos. So they are always available. So wanted to bring to your attention. And as we always do, it will be again number 75, the Platinum Workshop on Harmony next week, Saturday, 7th October 2023. And we have again two beautiful yogis who will take us through the value of harmony and meditation. That is Sister Moira from Argentina and Sister Anjani from New York. And we'll have the first hour experiential exercises to deepen the value of harmony within us. So please join us. And the next episode of Values for Life series, episode 76, is on victory, Vijay. And for that, we'll have Sister Gayatri from New York and Sister Gopi from UK. So after we bring harmony, we can see victory. So we'll discuss about that. So please join us. That is Saturday, 14th of October, same time, 7:30 a.m. West Coast, and that is 8 p.m. India time. Just wanted to mention that we are reaching to our third anniversaries, because we started October 2020. So the last two weekend programs will be the third anniversary of the Values for Life talk series. That's on 21st of October, and Values Workshops series, that would be on 28th October, Saturday, and we'll share more of the invitation soon. And to find out videos for all the sessions, please check us out on our websites, vyasa.in and vancouver.brahmakumaris.ca, and our YouTube channels, as well as these are the playlists for the Values for Life talk series. Is omshanti.tk playlist English, and you can add any other language to get other language episodes, or omshanti.tk workshops. Thank you, everyone.
So if I can request all of you all to just open your cameras if you want to get a quick photograph.
Right.
Yeah. And then we'll go in the meditation mode after that with Brother Ken. So,
Everyone ready?
yeah, it's ready.
More people opening up their videos. So we make this moment memorable with Brother Ken, Brother Eric. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
So we'll now pass it on to Brother Ken. So should we play some soft music, or silence is okay for the meditation?
This silence is okay.
Fine. Okay.
I think the first thing all of us need to do is to really go into the moment. There's sort of eternity in each moment. There are many things happening around us, and many things happening before this moment. Many things will happen after this moment. But just now, I am completely within this moment. That I'm the soul. I give life to this body. And of course, I give life to the activities that I perform through the body. So I've taken back control. I'm this spiritual being going through this human experience. And I'm aware of my deep natural qualities. I'm not jumping around, so I'm at peace. I'm not wanting anything at the moment. I'm content. I'm in harmony with the world around me at this moment. And I'm just like a tiny lighthouse, radiating these qualities. So I'm aware of the world around me, but I'm also aware of my connection with the Supreme, the one we call God or Allah or Jehovah or Shiva, so many names. Like a spiritual sun, subtle spiritual sun. But my mind is opening up to receive those rays of peace, love, happiness, bliss. So I'm receiving those rays, receiving that current. And I'm also retransmitting it to the world around me. I'm not thinking too much, I'm feeling these things. It's as if I've stopped time. So peaceful, so loveful, so content. Just stay in this state for a few moments longer, and happy to know that you can come back to this state whenever you want. Now we just open up our eyes a bit more and come back to our surroundings wherever we are. And we thank you all for giving this time. Thank you for participating. Shanti.
So thank you so much once again for making this Platinum episode so special, both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.